would sooner drive to North Carolina than fucking Telluride, but... Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. You are listening to episode number 75. This is a show where we like to talk about comic books, TV shows, video games, movies, political discourse sometimes, and always Star Trek. I'm your host, Tactic Angel, and with me is Midget Radio, my murderous socialist friend.
Hello.
Hi, Midget Radio. How are you?
I'm all right, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling pretty lubricated already.
Me too. Me too.
I have a delightful glass of whippersnapper with me.
Oh, you change up? Sounds like you changed up.
I changed up. That's different.
Nice. Good for you. I'm still on the rare breed.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, it wasn't effective enough the first time.
No, it's gonna get.
Yeah,
it's gonna be.
No, it's
gonna get real sloppy by the end of this.
It's done its job. Yeah.
Well, goddamn it, that Stamets something sentence in the To Boldly Go season 2 episode 1
I love it.
was just a disaster.
This is
in
a
terms
disaster
of English
already. This is great.
All right, so we're talking about things that aren't Star Trek related, though, and until we start randomly talking about Star Trek, we're talking about The Punisher season 2. Frank Castle is the Punisher, a man whose family was murdered in cold blood, a man who has a particular set of skills, a man who has an implacable animal spirit that defies even my ability to describe it in sufficient superlatives. He is a man. Stop laughing.
I'm sorry. I couldn't. The alliteration was spot on. I'm sorry. Congrats. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do we need?
No. Go. Fucking keep going. Keep going.
He is a man who got pretty much everything he needed out of the first season of The Punisher. But now he's back for more. But what? Brought to you by Netflix. Midget Radio, we watched the entire Punisher season 2. How does it compare to season 1?
Holy shit, dude. My initial first impression is it like still kind of follows along what I feel like has been typical of the Netflix Marvel series in general, where the first half of it, honestly, I was on board. The second half, total fucking train wreck.
I don't know if it was the first half, but I was solidly on board for the first 4 episodes.
Yeah.
4 episodes?
Yeah.
Non-verb agreement?
Yeah, roughly I'm about there. I think it did actually carry over a little bit more for me than just the initial 4 episodes. But man, did it just nosedive.
Well, I feel like it tailed off. I don't know that it was a nosedive.
Okay.
I think like I like the first 4 episodes. They start into a relationship with Beth and that whole I'm in Ohio thing. And like that was we're not really getting into spoilers, but
no.
He was in Ohio, guys.
Yeah.
I just want to remind us, because we do another show, which is also great, you should listen to.
True.
It's about Star Trek.
Yeah.
It is entirely about Star Trek.
Yeah.
But in this case, we're going to try to keep the spoilers out of it until we get past the rating.
Right.
And like, I felt like they did a pretty good job with that whole thing. And then it started to definitely suffer.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was probably around the 4 or 5 episode mark.
Yeah.
And it's really another example for me of, we had 8 episodes worth of material, and we had 13 episodes worth of order.
Yep. Yeah. I would agree with that assessment. Largely, even though we don't agree all the time. Fuck you. I think you're an idiot. but because we don't agree on everything. But yeah, no, I think that's pretty fair.
I think anyone who thinks that we agree on everything is an idiot.
I agree with that as well. Anyway, so for the non-spoilery portion of this show, I feel like typically we usually talk about characters. There are a couple of like new characters introduced. We have
Beth, and we have Rachel, and we have John.
Yes, so Rachel's like the kid, right?
Yep.
I can't remember. So the kid. So so to focus on her a little bit, basically we have the Punisher now interacting with this kid who appears to be, I don't know if she's like under 8, like she's right, she's
Let's
a minor.
just call her a grifter.
Yeah, I mean
sure.
that is definitely what she was. It was a little difficult to establish like what her age was, like whether she was technically a minor or not. But definitely a kid. I have to say, interestingly enough, about this season, which I was not, I'm at the end of the day not real high on. I hated her fucking character for a long time. And I was a little surprised that I did sort of come. She got less terrible, I feel like, as the season came off, as the season grew.
I found towards the end I was kind of rooting for her.
Yeah, I was there too. I was surprised by that change. That's generally like, I feel like, hard to accomplish, especially when you're dealing with what is essentially a child character. I mean, most of the time it's like they're really fucking annoying, or in the rare case they're compelling, but I generally don't find myself like turning around on them, where she was just awful in the beginning. And I did sort of come around on her at the end.
She was more wildly irrational at the beginning than she was at the end.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was, I mean, I was definitely bothered, and I can put my finger on why.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like, I felt like if you wanted to say anything like truly nice about season 2 of The Punisher, what you would say is they took a bunch of characters who were unlikable.
Yeah.
And they made you feel for them, because like, Rachel's one character they do it with, but like John, like there were several times that I was really interested in what they were doing with John's character. And
you're gonna have to remind me this deep into the turkey. Who was John?
he's the bad guy, the assassin who dresses like
yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay.
So like he has a lot of negative character traits. He has clearly a disreputable background.
Yes.
And at the same time, his circumstance and where he's ended up in life and what he cares about all kind of coalesce into a very human experience.
They do, yeah. So he is identified actually as Pilgrim generally.
Well, yeah, but at the end of
it's John all the time. But yeah,
they ask him what his name is, and he's like, "My name is John." Anyway,
yeah.
But yes, Pilgrim is fine too.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of like a bullshit character at the beginning, I feel like.
Well, he definitely starts. He starts in a place that is both very archetypal,
yes,
and also very stereotypical.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about this a little bit too, because I have. This is I don't know. Maybe we probably shouldn't get too deep in it, but
we can get after the ratings. We can talk all we want about John.
No, right, yeah, and spoilery stuff. I feel like, but like his, certain aspects of his motivation, and certainly the Punisher himself falls into this as well. But it's the fridging, right? The fridging of the female characters. How the internet would put this. This is how Twitter literary criticism works. That like you put the lady, you put the wife, you put the love interest or whatever in the fridge, she's dying or she's dead, right? And that's what motivates the main character, and apparently like that's misogynistic in nature, I guess. But that's certainly something that like the Punisher is guilty of, if you consider that guilt. But it's also an aspect of Pilgrim's character as well, which is, I wouldn't say like a fucking sin or anything, but like it's definitely stereotypical in a way, because his wife is like dying or whatever, and like that's why he does everything, because his fucking wife, whatever, his wife is his fucking savior.
Yeah, let's make sure to talk about that, because I think that the concept is bullshit.
I think the concept is a little shitty, is a little bullshitty too. But in the sense that it is stereotypical, that's fair. I mean, that's definitely a stereotypical kind of archetypal sort of motivation, a very cliche kind of motivation for a protagonist, for sure. Whether it's misogynistic, or an antagonist, in this case, in Pilgrim's case at least, whether it's misogynistic, I think is a different conversation, but yeah.
We also have Beth, who only appears in a select number of episodes.
Oh yeah, the psychologist, right?
Nope.
Oh shit, the turkey man. I don't know what to tell you. Who's Beth?
Beth is the bartender.
Oh, the bartender, yeah. Okay.
I was actually rooting quite a bit for Beth because, of course, Alexa Davalos is kind of gorgeous.
So definitely, and actually one of the things that I liked about this season, particularly the first half of it, particularly the first couple of episodes, really, was that like the Punisher was on the road, right? We've been through season 1, he's on the road. Now he's met this new person. Now he's in this new circumstance. Now he's in this new situation, and it doesn't have to do directly with his past. It doesn't have to do directly with the fact that like his wife and his kids were fucking murdered in front of him, right? This is progression for the character. This is a new thing that Frank Castle is experiencing, and that we're getting to experience alongside him. And that's kind of what made it interesting. It doesn't have to do with his past directly. These are new fucking people. This is a new chapter of his life. And I honestly was like actually pretty into that.
Yeah, I was interested in that, and I was really interested that, particularly, like, you and I have seen Punisher Warzone.
Yeah.
And And in Punisher Warzone, the Punisher is more than a little bit creepy when it comes to his interaction with people, and especially kids.
Yeah.
In this case, I think that Bernthal does just a fantastic job making the Punisher both an animal, and also, like, when he interacts with kids, you can see like a genuine, like, there's a shining sort of spirit to his character. Because like, he's like, I love pancakes, and he talks to the kid, and he's like, I really want to go eat pancakes with your fucking kid. And and like, that's all great.
It really is. And there's like, what's frustrating about this too is that, like, I feel like they do a pretty good job of making making Frank Castle, like, he's fairly self-aware. You know, I even love when he's saying, like, maybe it's just because I'm old-fashioned. Like, when he's trying to justify the fact that he feels this kinship and this need to protect this girl, this kid, right? And then he recognizes that, like, maybe I'm just old-fashioned. I'm just fucking old-fashioned, but it's because they were coming after you. It's because you're a little girl. You know, if it was a guy, I'd be like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. He's given what he's getting what's due, you know, but maybe I'm just old-fashioned, and maybe that's what's driving me to just that self-awareness. Like, it's just awesome. Just that he's questioning that aspect of himself. Like, maybe I don't know. It's just that's what makes. I mean, it really is really solid. Like,
yeah.
Because that's what you
Frank's
would think. If you're that kind of person, like you'd be like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a fucking old-fashioned piece of shit and I feel like I have to stick my neck out and protect you because you're a woman and you're weak, and maybe that's me being a stereotypical fucking male animal piece of shit, you know? But that's what I feel I need to do. And it's like, God damn it, that's human. That's what it is to be a human, you know?
Well, Frank is a warrior.
Exactly,
right? Yeah. And essentially the thing that, like, if you go to like A Few Good Men, what do warriors exist for? They protect the people who can't protect themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that is the ideology that he grows up in.
Sure.
Whether or not they're a woman or a man, I imagine probably doesn't matter, because if Frank Castle saw somebody picking on a kid in a wheelchair,
sure.
Oh man, the guns are coming out.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, like, you have that, and the other thing is, like, yeah, there is a certain stereotype to the whole he's gonna protect the kid.
Yeah.
But like there's a reason why that's natural.
Exactly. Yeah. And it makes sense, and that he's aware of that is what makes him a person.
And it's also nice that Frank, in his own words in this season, acknowledges the fact that he understands that he's fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not perfect, man. He ain't anybody's idea of like the ideal hero. He is not that.
Well, I mean, he's talking about Dina Madani.
Yeah.
And he's like, she is messed up.
I
Trust
like
me.
that too. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. She's fucked up. She
what-
doesn't know where she's. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, that's pretty clear.
Yeah, you know,
that's pretty fair. Yeah.
Frank would know about not quite putting the math together.
Yeah.
So, like, I love that about him. And like, as much as it's likely that I'm going to say some negative things about this season.
Yeah.
I do think Frank Castle's character, for the most part, survives unscathed.
I think so too. I do feel like, for as many problems, as many issues as there are with this season, the writing staff stays pretty true to his character. They seem to have a pretty good idea of who Frank Castle is, and they don't turn him into kind of a two-dimensional hero at all.
There's a certain dimension to Bernthal's rendition of Frank Castle too.
Because, God, yes, yeah.
Even when it comes to how does Frank Castle walk, like,
yeah,
Frank Castle walks in a certain way that it's like, I am just itching to pull the trigger on somebody.
Yeah,
and like he's tight. He's he's obviously a strong character. He's wound up.
Oh yeah,
because he's got too many conflicting emotions, and it's just to watch him walk, which we get several opportunities to see. It's like, man, this guy is animal. This guy's power. This guy is a hero, and he's also dangerous.
Yeah, he's a
sick.
fucking predator. Yeah.
Well, it's when I say he's a hero, he is a hero, but he's also, like, the sickness of Frank Castle comes through.
Yeah.
And like, it can be both things at the same time, even if they are contradictory.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah. No, he's definitely the kind of person who, like, it's interesting. He's almost like, he's a little bit how, like, God damn it, I don't want to derail this too much, but he's a little bit how, like, David Milch would describe the character of Seth Bullock in Deadwood, which is like somebody who is just full of fucking rage, who is full of fucking, like, this sense of vengeance, and who has a penchant towards violence, trying to drape himself in the kind of ideology of justice and doing what's right, as little more than an outlet, like, for that ideal. I can kill all of these fucking I can engage in this sick desire for murder and violence by draping it in the uniform of justice, essentially. And that's kind of how I see Frank Castle a little bit. That this vengeance, that this like justice, that this doing what needs to be done to the criminals of the world is a way to satiate, in some sense, that desire for violence, for action, for fucking blood and guts and all of that shit.
I think he directly contradicts that with his own testimony.
Really?
Yeah, because he talks about it, and in several of the only two overdrawn scenes, he's like, you know, Dina, if I go after these people, I'm going to fucking murder them.
Yeah.
And he's unapologetic about it, and they're like, you know, Frank, you aren't the law. But he's like, you know what? You call on me, I do a thing, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a finality. I don't know if it's right, but I feel fine with it because I think it's right.
Right. Well, that's the deal. Like, it's in the name of justice. It's in the name of his conception of justice.
But he also understands that what he's doing is not necessarily justice. He's essentially, I mean, he is the Punisher.
Right. But this is a good conversation, but I feel like it's his, I don't think he's satisfied with the legalistic understanding of what justice is. He's platonic capital J fucking justice. This is an ideology that I am serving, not a fucking set of rules, not a set of written rules. Like,
but at the same time, he understands that he will make mistakes, and he will, and essentially what he's saying is like, I have a compass that is my own, and I am going to go out there, and anyone who tells me that south is north, I'm gonna fucking murder. And I just hope it's the right idea.
But he believes
I don't know that it is.
I think he believes strongly that it is, but that other people will disagree.
To take the odds. I think he's willing to take the odds that it's the right chance. Yeah. But he directly says that he understands that it might be the wrong.
Yeah. I feel like we're essentially on the same page, because he's a fucking, I mean, it's faith for him. He thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's doing the capital R fucking right thing.
Except for the points where he's like, I'm willing to kill anyone who gets in my way.
And that was an interesting, because that was more of a realization for him. In this season, which was kind of interesting. It wasn't played out very well, but I do feel like that was kind of a realization for him that the ends justify the means kind of thing. And he had never really considered that before this particular season of The Punisher. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, but it didn't go very far.
It didn't go very far, and it wasn't handled very well, but yeah.
The person that you were talking about though is Krista, and I guess I didn't mention her, but Krista is the counselor.
So she's
Krista Dumont.
All I have to really say about her is that she's super gorgeous and that she's in Supergirl. That actress is in Supergirl. She's a cop in Supergirl.
I think that she's less gorgeous than Alexa.
Alexa,
who plays Beth.
Oh wow, really? Oh no. Yeah, that I would disagree.
All day.
As important as this distinction is, yeah. No, I disagree with you on that.
No, see, we need to talk.
We do disagree.
Alexa DeVos is it?
No, give me Krista all day. But yeah,
gorgeous. I guess we don't have to fight over it because none of this is ever going to happen.
Suppose not.
So, misogyny. Anyway.
Yay.
Okay, so usually I ask you about other things such as fight choreography and sound. Did you want to address either of these?
I mean, it was fine. I mean, there was some pretty decent there were some fairly creative aspects. I kind of like, right, there's a gunfight that the Punisher gets into with Pilgrim in a hotel room that's mostly between a wall. Like,
Yeah.
that was kind of interesting. I mean, it was kind of interesting just because I've never seen that before. So, I mean, there was some stuff that was fairly interesting. It certainly, like, it wasn't bad. And then I guess music as well. I do like this series penchant towards kind of like a bluesy sort of musical score. I do like that they were fairly consistent on that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't really have anything else to.
Well, there's a lot of '90s grunge.
There is a little.
And
I did.
alt-rock
Some of that was a little weird,
stuff.
but yeah.
Well, there was one. Okay.
Right, there was Alice in
the-
Chains in this. Alice in Chains, Rooster. Can't find
the
a
most
way to
part-
kill me. Yeah.
For the most part, it plays straight against the grain, and then one time it's like straight against the grain. And actually, that was kind of like, that was nice. We'll talk about it in spoilers.
Okay.
I would say for the most part, the gunplay in this is less interesting than the first season,
Yeah, I would too.
but they still do a decent job.
Yeah.
They still do a decent job. It's certainly more interesting choreography than you see with like
Iron
Luke
Fist
Cage
and
anything,
Cage
or-
and yeah, I honestly, yeah,
because
even just the Jones, yeah.
Luke, at least pretend like the bullets might hurt you.
I know, dude. React to them, but
You're gonna CG this in. It's gonna be cool, right?
yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and rate this so that we can go ahead and talk about the spoilery contents of all the fun goodiness that
Okay.
came afterwards. Midget Radio on the old school Netflix 1 to 5, including 0 for Star Trek Discovery. What would you give this?
Punisher season 2. I am at 2 stars.
2 stars.
Yeah.
I would say I gave a lot of thought to this. Now, the problem with rating a Punisher thing is like the Punisher season 1 was like what, 4.5 or 5 stars, just
Yeah.
crazy good.
Yeah.
And then you come to this and it's
Yeah.
just like, by comparison, I fucking hate this.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm bored and I almost don't want to see it continue because it's like
Yep.
it's like somebody pissing in your delicious whiskey.
Yeah.
But if I were to start from ground zero and move out in terms of its quality, I actually don't think it's that offensive. I'd
Okay.
probably give it the absolute nihilistic 2.5
Okay.
stars. Because I didn't really dislike it, but I don't think it did anything for any of the characters. And for the
Yeah.
most part, the characters other than Alexa, I don't want to see again.
Oh shit! Which one is Alexa?
God damn it.
The bartender.
The bartender. I want to see more of the bartender.
She's like in 2 episodes of this fucking season.
She's in 3 or 4. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, the biggest Achilles heel for this season.
Spoilers?
Yeah, spoilers. So we're in spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoiler tag is up there. So the biggest Achilles heel is the Jigsaw shit. Holy fuck. It is. I wanted to ask you this question. Do you think that psychologists and psychiatrists in general, do you feel like they're offended by what so often seems to be their portrayal in mainstream media? Because I kind of feel like that must be the case. Like, oh, the psychologist is the one that's like endlessly fucking empathetic with the fucking psycho killer, with the serial killer fucking murderer who's like, I don't know, he just didn't get enough hugs. He just didn't get enough hugs as a kid. So, whatever, we need to be nice to him. Like, Jesus Christ, it just... I just feel like if I was a psychiatrist, I'd be like, God damn it, I can't watch TV anymore because they portray us all as just a bunch of pussies. Just a bunch of fucking endlessly empathetic pussies with fucking madmen. Like, no, yeah, I think you should be out in the general population. Yeah, whatever the fuck kills a bunch of people. Well, that's fine. Like, yeah,
the college I went to had a large psychology program.
Okay.
And I tended to find that a lot of the people who were in the psychology department were women who had issues.
Okay.
So,
I mean, just, God damn it. There's got to be psychologists out there that are like, I know that my patient has killed a lot of people.
well,
right? And I know he shouldn't be out in the general public. Like,
there was the whole, like, there, I think that, that Krista said at some point in like episode 4 or 5, something like that, maybe 3 or 4 or 5. It doesn't matter. She's like, what my patient has been accused of is not a concern of mine. And it's, and like literally either that same episode or immediately in the following episode, Jigsaw kills just a ton of people in her presence.
Like, all right.
And it's like, it's your fucking problem now. Like,
it's just, I mean, it's wildly irrational.
So my guess is specific to your question, though.
Yeah.
That many of them would be offended.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't necessarily be unfair.
I don't know. I feel like I have enough trust in in just American psychologists in general that they wouldn't be like, yeah, no, I know he's killed a bunch of people, but he's fine. Like, no, we need to give him a lot of room because, yeah, not enough hugs. Like, I'm pretty sure they'd be like, no, we shouldn't let this motherfucker out in the regular world. And I'm certainly not going to help them escape, right? Like, because that's fucking crazy. I don't know. It's like I'd be offended a little bit.
I don't know.
As a psychologist, like, it's worth investigating these people, but what the fuck? They probably should be separated from society. Like,
as far as I can tell, there's lots of daddy issues there. So I'm not gonna go all the way there with you.
whatever. American psychologists, midget radio got your back. You feel like you're being stereotyped a little bit, but
whatever. I'm more interested in Canadian psychologists.
Fuck them. They think lobsters are the fucking model for how people should behave. But
yeah, is that what you got out of that?
Anyway, moving on into the Punisher, season 2. I seriously, the Jigsaw stuff was like, God damn it, who fucking cares? This asshole who, like, can't remember why he was an asshole. The amount of time that we had to spend with this dude and his bizarre fucked up relationship with his psychiatrist, and like it was just so wildly one, he's not interesting. Jigsaw as a character is not interesting. And then 2, you have this bizarre relationship with his fucking psychiatrist. You don't even understand where that's coming from. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Why she has this much sympathy for him. Why she's like weirdly attracted to him. None of that makes sense. It's not a compelling relationship at all.
Well, they try to explain it later.
They do later. And that's the problem. Like, it's just this weird mystery for fucking like 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes. Like, it's too long. I don't fucking understand where any of this is coming from, but my God, the amount of time that's being spent on it is fucking grating.
Actually, by the time they started to talk about it, like, I was like, wow, this is exactly about the time in like Luke Cage.
Exactly. Season 2. Yeah. In Luke Cage season 2. Yeah.
Or in Jessica Jones, where they're like, you know what would be great right now is a flashback episode.
This is too late. I don't understand this fucking character, so I have zero interest in this relationship. Like, yeah.
Or actually, probably just about the time they had the Karen episode in Daredevil.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
For those of you who don't remember, the Karen episode in Daredevil was the one where you wished you were stabbed in the face rather than watching it.
Oh my God. You're like, can this get worse? And you're like, holy shit, I guess it can. Like
it can only get worse if you watch Discovery.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah, I mean, it's a colossal amount of time spent on an utterly uninteresting character. And what's so fucking frustrating about it is that, like, I don't understand if they're trying to make Jigsaw in any way remotely sympathetic, because he's clearly interested in, he's clearly a fucking narcissist, right? And everything that he does throughout the season is just about like, it's just about making himself feel good. There's no greater ideology. There was almost a part of me that was kind of interested in, okay, this is where Jigsaw, like, right, he preys upon, like, veterans who feel that they've been cast aside by their country, right? There's part of me that's like, okay, that could be sort of interesting.
I thought it would be interesting, particularly if they went into it with the idea that the Daredevil would be or not Daredevil, the Punisher would be sympathetic to these people.
Yeah.
And not want...
who've been cast aside. Yeah. Who've served their country and now they're fucking drinking alone in bars, you know, just dealing with the trauma that they've experienced overseas.
Well, and instead he beats the ever-living fuck out of that guy.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Yeah. There's no exploration of that. And for Jigsaw himself as a character, it's just about him. It's so horrifically narcissistic that it's completely fucking uninteresting. And it's like you almost feel like there's because he seems to wrestle with, like, the fact that, like, Frank and I were brothers, right? I don't understand why Frank Castle hates me so much. I don't get it, because I don't remember what a prick I was. That there's like this weird
psychopath.
Exactly. Now. That, like, we're supposed to accept the fact that, like, this character has this weird affinity for the concept of brotherhood, that, like, that this is a guy who holds that in high esteem, the concept of brotherhood, this relationship that he had with Frank and that he had with other people. But that he clearly, like, will sell that out. He's just I guess here's my problem. He's a completely unsympathetic character. Jigsaw himself is completely unsympathetic. And the amount of fucking time that is devoted to him is just grating because of that. He sucks.
Well,
he's a piece of shit. Like,
and everything that we get from Krista is also through the lens of trying to understand Jigsaw.
This piece of shit. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And so every moment that she spends, like, talking about how her father grabbed her and threw both of them out the window.
Yeah.
Honestly, I when they were doing the second one, when Dina kicked her out of the window.
Oh my God.
I laughed so fucking hard.
It was so obvious. Like, it's such an obvious thing to have happen to her character. That, I mean, it's embarrassing.
It was shocking, and I never saw it coming.
Yeah. It's embarrassingly bad writing. It's God. Of course, I mean, of course, that's the one thing that she was so afraid of is exactly the fucking thing that happens to her. Jesus Christ, guys. Like, you can do better than this.
Well, it was also the compositing of the falling sequence was so bad.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, it really was. Yeah. I mean, honestly,
And-
it kind of falls in, this season kind of falls into the Jessica Jones trap a little bit, where it's like, we can't do a season of Jessica Jones that isn't like laser focused on Jessica's past, you know? And now, of course, we have to do the Punisher, and now it's like the Punisher's relationship with Jigsaw. Like, see, I will still defend the end of season 1 of the Punisher. I will defend that. I think that like Frank Castle's desire to inflict the kind of same amount of infinite pain upon Jigsaw that Jigsaw inflicted upon him, that to me is that's the definition of vengeance. It's not just
but you get the weird sort of play in this season where it's like everything that happens that isn't directly related to the Senator plot is brought upon Frank Castle by his own unwillingness to finish off.
Right. There's something, here's what I would say to that. There's something interesting to be said that can be said about that. It wasn't done in this season though.
It wasn't, but but the problem is that in not saying it still kind of makes Frank Castle look like a fool.
It does a little bit, and that's okay. I mean, I think that's a reasonable point to raise in the sense that like pure vengeance itself is irrational. Like it's irrational. It's not the right way to go. It doesn't really make any sense, and it shows the sort of weakness of that kind of eye for an eye ideology. Right? It demonstrates that to a certain degree that like you can want to visit the exact same amount of pain that you feel upon the person who made you feel that pain in the first place. You can want that. You can desire that, and that makes perfect fucking sense. But when you actually do that, right, there are consequences, and it doesn't quite work out. Like it doesn't quite make sense at the end of the day. There's something to be said about that, and there's something that's worth exploring in there. And I feel like that's what this season could have done and didn't really do.
Well, that said, I do like that the end scene of Jigsaw's involvement was kind of a bait and switch.
Yep. Yeah.
And also, and I did definitely think of you when it's like, Frank, I'm sorry. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm really not interested.
Yeah.
In your apology.
Yeah. I kind of love that too. I actually loved when Frank finally killed Jigsaw. I did kind of love that scene a little bit because that felt like Frank Castle to me. It felt like
he was taking names.
Yeah.
By the
fuck
end of
it.
that.
Fuck it. Fuck it, you're done. I don't give a shit what you have to say. There's no emotional catharsis. None of that. Fuck you. I'm solving the problem at this point. Yeah, and that's Frank Castle. That's what's that's one of the things that's kind of frustrating about this season is that it's bad. Like this was not a good season of The Punisher, but I do actually feel like the writers did a pretty they didn't. There wasn't anything extraordinarily out of character here. Other than, honestly, the only thing I saw was that when the Punisher first got the drop on Jigsaw and his crew when they were robbing that fucking check cashing store or whatever the fuck it was, and Jigsaw's just in the middle of the goddamn street, and he's just like, holy shit, that's the skull, that's the Punisher, oh my god, that's what I've been seeing in my dreams, that's the and he's just fucking standing there. And it's like, what the fuck, Frank Castle? You can't kill the dude in the middle of the street. He's not even looking for cover. Come on, man. You're the Punisher. You don't miss. What the fuck?
He misses plenty, but he has enough bullets.
I mean,
for
kill
everybody.
this bitch. So that was the only scene that I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they did a great disservice to Frank Castle. I think. Other than involving him in a plot that was really not worth exploring,
Yeah.
then that's
Yeah.
that would be the one thing, but that's hardly like the end of the world.
No, and my preference would have been, honestly, if they had just stuck with this teenage girl is caught up in a weird fucking plot where people are trying to kill her because of some pictures that she had taken. I actually would have preferred just like, give me 6 episodes of that and move the fuck on. And we're done.
I was about to say it would only be about 6 episodes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, and okay, so in the denouement, so when we're seeing Rachel kind of say goodbye to Frank,
Yeah.
I don't know if I had been struck harder than, God, I miss Micro.
Yeah.
Because it's like, is he gonna have a different sidekick for every season?
Yeah.
I mean,
God, this has got to be the last season, I'm sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe not.
I don't know, man.
possible.
This season to me is communicated to, hey, we've done Netflix is like, hey, we've done everything we can do with these people. we got nothing left. So
I did kind of
good luck
feel
with
a little
Disney.
bit like okay, let me put it this way. When I was watching the last episode, which was Whirlwind,
Okay.
which I actually kind of liked because John begs that Frank Castle not hurt his family,
Yeah.
which is fun and interesting.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden in the last 5 minutes, it's like Frank Castle kills everyone.
Yeah.
It was like, I kind of felt like what probably actually happened was that they were not going to kill everyone, and we were going to get like a third Bucky Barnes season of Daredevil, where Jigsaw finally faces off against the Punisher in a concerted fashion.
Yeah.
Instead of being executed on the floor while he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Frank, I'm so happy to see you. I want to apologize."
Yeah. God, that's what's so frustrating about that is a fucking God. I hate that I hate Jigsaw as a fucking character. I can't stand it. I just can't stand it because it's irrational, narcissistic, but you just can't follow him. He's just like, whatever, Frank, I love you because whatever, we're brothers, and it's just irrational.
I
He's
mean,
a
like,
fucking psycho. That's
I
all it
kind of-
is.
I kind of like it in the sense that, like, it hurts more. Like, to go back to your point, this is interesting because we're switching sides.
Okay.
Because, like, I didn't understand, like, Frank, you get all the way to the end of season 1, and then you don't kill the one person in the entire plot that really, really deserves it.
Yeah.
And then in the second one, like, in the second season, Jigsaw is so wounded by the fact that he doesn't understand why his friend is coming after him and trying to kill him, that it is emotional torture to him for 6-7 episodes.
Yeah.
And then Frank shows up and he's like, he's hopeful that Frank will be like that person who will, like, gently help him into the abyss. And right when he's about to apologize to Frank, Frank's just like, no.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Show is over. You don't get to die with that catharsis.
Yeah.
And so there's a certain, like, just beautiful cruelty to that action.
So okay.
Like, I didn't like that Frank saved him, but at the same time, that Frank would not allow him any recompense.
Yeah.
Is also kind of, is is wonderful in just the worst sort of way.
So okay, I think I see what you're saying, and I think my frustration stems from the fact that Jigsaw is so entirely inconsistent, and that's what makes him like kind of a narcissist at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, because what he it's just now, right, that he has a couple of bullets in him, that now he feels like his relationship with Frank is somehow extraordinarily meaningful. You know?
No, so after the fight where he robs the place and he gets shot at by Frank and he sees the skull and he realizes that his best friend, he goes home to Krista and is just beside himself with the fact, like, why would my friend try to kill me?
Right.
Like, he was my brother.
Yeah.
Why would he do this? And like, I understand that he's kind of crazy and he is a narcissist too. But like, he returns to that state in the end because he cannot remember all of the things that made him worthy of dying.
But this is after he's already tried to torture Frank to death. Like, he's already enlisted his goons to stab Frank in a weird, like,
yeah, I guess
sort
you
of
could go that way.
I mean, it's just like that's what makes it so meaningless to me. Like,
God, I hated that scene.
I hated it. I fucking hated it too. But like, that's the thing. His random back. It's just psychosis at this point. Like, it's just, now I feel like you're my best. Now I fucking hate you and I want you to hurt as bad as I hurt. But after that point, when I have a couple bullets in me, now it's like I love you and you're my best friend and you mean so much to me. It's just fucking psychosis, and it's utterly fucking meaningless. And like, and that's what I hate about him as a character. And that is the thing that kind of separates Frank Castle from him. Like, Frank Castle's his thread lines are fairly consistent. You kind of know where he stands. He's not just randomly, I invest this much meaning into this relationship and then I fucking don't. Now I do because of these circumstances. You know, it's just, he's not as flaky. Jigsaw's a flake. I guess that's where it is. Jigsaw's a fucking flake. And for this season to have spent as much time on a fucking flake as it did is what made it kind of hard to get through for me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a great defense for that because honestly, you have to kind of throw out some of that. And that scene with, oh man, it was terrible.
Yeah.
Where it's like, every time the lights come on, the heavy metal starts.
I know, it didn't make any sense. It was so stupid.
Every time the lights come on, the heavy metal starts.
Fucking, like, is he standing by the light switch? Like, what the fuck? And it's connected to the fucking Bluetooth speaker that spins that plays the heavy metal music. It's fucking stupid. But
well, I mean, and also it's just like, well, we have to have Frank lose, and this is the time he's gonna lose, and we just can't be fucking bothered to make it interesting.
And like every Netflix show, we got to make it to 13 episodes. So we got to put something in here.
Well, yeah, I mean, like they could easily have cut 4 or 5 episodes out of this, and it would have been better for it.
It really would have been, yeah.
But like they have that scene, and it's just fucking lazy, and it, without it would have made what I was talking about better.
Yeah.
And
yes, it would have.
And I guess, I mean, even though I've only seen this show in the last week, I willfully kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't very good.
It's not. Yeah.
It's unfortunate because it's like, and it doesn't even make sense in context, because after that, the Punisher, after he gets slashed to pieces, he beats the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And you're like, what?
Yeah. Injuries don't mean shit. Yeah.
I mean, at least in the first season when he got like seriously owned.
Yeah.
There was that, you would see that implacable animal spirit that defied all of my ability to to create superlatives, right?
And he's always fucked up. Like, the makeup department did a good job, especially in season 1. His face
they did a good job too in this
always
one,
fucked up. They did, but like, man, you could just see the beat down motherfucker on his face. I'm beat to shit and I'm getting up. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
It is.
Let's talk about John.
Pilgrim? Yeah. Okay.
Pilgrim, yeah.
Okay.
So John starts out, he's a guy, and like my natural reaction was, oh yeah, of course, yeah, heavily Christian. Good job. Thank you for demonizing easy targets.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it.
And then they started to make him more interesting, and then they're like, oh, he's got all these removed tattoos of like really just crazy over the top Nazi stuff. I don't know if you can get under the top Nazi stuff, but he was
Nazis,
definitely
you're
over
pretty,
the top.
Yeah, you're pretty high already. But yeah.
So anyway, so he's got all of those, and you're like, okay, they're making him worse. Great.
Yeah.
But then like they start developing this whole thing where, you know, he's reformed. He's got this wife. He feels bad about the wife. The wife's dying.
Right. Of course she is. Yeah.
He's super into, you know, the faith. He wants to be there when she dies. He's committed to his family and all this other stuff. You start to actually, like, I started to actually feel for the guy because, like,
same here.
And I really like that because, particularly in today's day and age, like, I mean, you call a person a Nazi and you can do whatever you want to.
But like his story is like, what? This is a guy who didn't have a moral compass, who found a moral compass. Like that's fundamentally what he experienced as a character, you know?
Yeah, and maybe it's not a perfect.
Sure.
Maybe is not the right word.
Sure.
It's definitely not a perfect moral compass.
He was a nihilist. Now he's not, you know, like it can be as simple as that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he had ideas, but because when he talks to Curtis, he's like, I used to think that you were less than human, etc.
Whatever.
You're like, of course.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah.
But like when you see his wife dying, and I think the actor who played him did like a pretty fantastic job, all the way from like the constant dead eye that he has.
Yeah.
To where you can tell he is just shredded as a human being inside, and he just doesn't want to show it. Yeah. And he's worried about his kids. He's fucked up about this hooker stuff.
Yeah, and then it took someone like recognizing like that it took someone like this is a character who's never been loved. Like this is a guy who was born, probably his parents never loved him if he even had parents in the first fucking place. And he just met another human being who was like capable of knowing what a piece of shit he is and loving him in spite of that. Like this is just a guy. Yeah, this is just a guy who's never been fucking loved before, experienced it for the first time, and that changed his entire life, you know. That changed his entire fucking point of view. You're like, okay, I get it. And this is the circumstances that he was in when he experienced that radical transformation, that he could be loved for being the kind of piece of shit that he is. You know, that would be fairly miraculous and that would be a major transformation for anybody.
Yeah, I'm nodding a lot, but you can't see that.
Oh, sure, but yeah, I mean, immediately interesting and immediately kind of sympathetic. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like it's interesting to see a person who is by modern definition and certainly kind of like the fucking bizarro political circumstance that we typically find ourselves in, just completely unsympathetic, and they make him sympathetic.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And honestly, like by the end of it, you kind of hope they just do his character some justice.
Yeah.
And I feel for the most part they probably do.
I do too. Yeah.
I was a little bit not cool by the whole hookers next door sequence, and I'm gonna do a whole bunch of cocaine.
Oh, that felt okay. Yeah, I agree. I feel like that was.
But I do feel like when
they leaned into that pretty hard. But yeah,
I do feel when he went home and he found out that his wife died on the same day.
Yeah,
that was kind of like, okay, like that's kind of interesting from like if you're his character, you ascribe a certain amount of fate and causality.
Yeah, some divine intervention. Yeah.
That's like, hey, Job, you fucked up. I killed your wife, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, obviously that didn't happen to Job, but like to John, that would be a thing.
Yeah.
And I felt like they did a pretty good job with that. And I really do like that when Frank's about to kill him and he raises the thing up, all he says is, please don't kill my boys, you know?
Yeah.
And that was great because it both works for Frank and it works for John.
Yeah. And it makes
even though John clearly deserves to be punished.
Yeah. He does, but he's not a fucking hopeless narcissist like Jigsaw is. Like John, it's always been about his family. It's always been about like his kids. It's always been about these relationships that he's forged. It's not just a matter that he has a couple of fucking bullets in him and he's about to die at the hands of Frank Castle, that now all of a sudden he realizes, right? Like it's not contingent on his own, it's not contingent on his health or anything like that. Like he holds his family above all else, no matter what condition he's in, and that's not how it is for somebody like Jigsaw. For Jigsaw, it's very much dependent on whether he's healthy or not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's what makes him kind of sympathetic at the end of the day.
Well, I think that's fair, and I think it's also fair. Like if you go back to the idea of the Punisher and justice, the Punisher is not justice. The Punisher is punishment.
Yeah.
And he operates under his own moral code.
Yeah.
But it is a moral code that is not completely compatible with the capital R right. And so like he's the type of person who might let John go because John shares a certain amount of natural. I mean, like his affinities are similar to what the Punisher has.
Yeah.
So Frank Castle is severely interested in the well-being of people who are less able to defend themselves, which includes women and children.
Yeah.
And so when John begs for the life of his family, who, I mean, obviously Frank Castle has another reason for caring about because his family was taken from him. That means something extra. And it makes sense that Frank is not justice. He is fallible. This is a mistake, probably.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a very human mistake, and it makes him a great character.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, no, yeah, he's a fantastic fucking character. He's a fantastic character that the writers don't manage to completely destroy in this season, which is weird. As down as we are on this season,
well, there's certainly no Karen Page episode, though. Though when Deborah Ann Woll shows up, I actually was like, she's looking pretty good. She's looking pretty good this season.
I mean, she wasn't crying. That was nice. That was great. But
she didn't kill her boyfriend or her brother.
Right? Didn't shoot anybody. Good job.
She didn't beat up a supervillain.
Oh my God.
There were no nuns confessing deeply held secrets.
Karen Page. Oh my god.
Just stab me in the face.
I know. But yeah, I don't know what else. I mean, overall, kind of really a disappointing season for the Punisher. That even I was actually so into the beginning of this. I just enjoyed. I mean, Jesus Christ, John Bernthal as the Punisher is just fucking fantastic. So, I mean, you're already riding high on his portrayal of this character. That it really did carry me through probably like the first 6 to 7 episodes of this, but just the more Jigsaw and psychiatrist shit that we had to deal with, god damn it, it really got it just. That's what sunk this season for me.
Well, it kept I was kind of trying to figure it out because, of course, my theory is that it ping pongs between meaningless dialogue sequences, which is kind of the Netflix let's make this 13 episodes formula. By the way, episode 9 or 10 is a flashback episode.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Let's hide the ball.
I know. And poor Dina, kind of poor Dina. I'm just obsessed about the guy I used to fuck.
Oh God damn, I fucking hate her character.
I know, it sucks. It fucking sucks what they. I really it was really disappointing what they did with her as a character. It's just I just used to fuck this guy, and that's basically everything I'm concerned with now. It just sucks. It just sucks. It sucked to have to fucking sit through all of that. And I honestly wish they had just ditched all of the Jigsaw stuff, that they've just completely ditched that and given us 6 episodes of the Punisher meets this fucking teenager who's kind of a pain in the ass and in a weird situation, and he just decides to fucking do what he needs to do to make it right for this fucking teenage girl because that's his moral compass. That's how he fucking this show is called The Punisher. I just like to fucking follow the Punisher as a character. And
so here's the thing. The last episode of the season leads off with Jigsaw killing Dina and Dina killing Jigsaw, only for you to realize that neither one of those things happened.
That was also frustrating in a way. There was part of me that was wishing that just let this bitch kill this guy.
And
god damn
versa.
It. Yeah, just be done with it. Just be done with it.
What happens when Frank walks in and is like, "Oh shit, I got all these people killed."
Yeah.
Maybe that would be an interesting character study.
And I don't want to.
Some way.
Yeah.
But
keep going. Sorry.
But then what happens is they play the down. And it's great. Okay.
Yeah.
And no, Dina's alive.
Yeah.
And Jigsaw got away. He's fine.
Yeah.
And you're just this sucks.
I hated one of the things that one of the character points that this season turns on is that Jigsaw sets it up such that Frank Castle believes that he killed a bunch of hookers, a bunch of people who weren't involved, right? That he killed innocent people. And then they're no, the bullets that you fired randomly into an office area that you couldn't see because you were trying to kill Jigsaw, those and were not the bullets that killed the hookers. They were different bullets. They were different bullets that executed these hookers. And it's you have this weird moment where Frank Castle has to consider the possibility that his blood feud with Jigsaw may have killed some innocent people. You have to turn that on its head. No, it wasn't those bullets. It was Jigsaw who actually killed those people. It's that's not the thing though, right? The thing is that he was so determined to kill Jigsaw that he would just spray bullets into a fucking office, into an office area. He doesn't know who the fuck's in there. He would just spray bullets into a wall, essentially, to try to kill this piece of shit. No, his bullets were not the bullets that killed these fucking hookers, but like, still, like, how is that? It just, I don't know how to say this with this much turkey in me, but fucking hell, he could have easily killed those hookers. He still could have easily done that, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing about that revelation that changes that fact at all. But it does in this show. It does. It wasn't his bullets, so it's fine. It wasn't his bullets, so his attitude is completely fucking fine and totally fucking justified. Because he just lucked out. Essentially, that's all it was. He's just lucky that he didn't kill those hookers. Honestly, if Jigsaw had left them alive, he would have killed them. Like, it would have been his bullets. Like, and then he would have been guilty of it, and that would have fucked him up, and that would have changed him forever. That would have made him practically suicidal, as we saw in this season. That would have made him feel like he is a piece of shit. He's just the monster that he thought he was.
Yeah.
I hate this. That was so fucking retarded.
This
is the monster
quite a bit
he
better
thinks.
than season 3 of Daredevil.
I mean, it is. But he is, I mean, it does mean that he is essentially the monster that he thinks he is. That's the conclusion that we would have to necessarily derive from this fucking season. That he is, in fact, the monster that he thinks he is. Because he did spray bullets into a wall without having any fucking idea who was behind it. Because he was so dead set on trying to kill Jigsaw. That pure fucking vengeance. And that's what I loved about season 1, and that's what I love about the end of season 1. That the Punisher is not, he is about pure vengeance. He is not about capital J justice. It's fucking vengeance for him. He wants to visit the pain that he experienced upon those who dealt that pain to him. It's just eye for an eye. Fuck you. I hate you. I want to visit upon you the pain that you visited upon me. That's it.
I want you to suffer.
I want you to suffer as much as I have suffered. That is what the end of season 1 of The Punisher communicated to me, and it feels purely fucking human and purely. It's just about vengeance. It's about and it's about and it is why kind of vengeance is like pure fucking vengeance is a bad thing. Is a sinful bad thing. It's a bad model for a society. It's not what justice is supposed to be about.
I thought it was what the murderocracy was based on.
The murderocracy is about efficiency. But
it has nothing to do with justice or vengeance.
No, it's just about making shit work. But but yeah, no, that's what I like about that first season. And yeah, I don't know. It's I don't think it was capitalized upon in season 2 of The Punisher. But
No.
No.
So I don't know. I mean, I can't really push back on that too much because it. I mean, it's right. It is too bad.
Not to say that you agree with me. Not to say that you agree with anything that I've said, but
I don't know if like even disagreement is a bad thing or a good thing. And then of course being completely implacable in your position is like, is that a virtue? Because that kind of sounds like being an asshole to me.
Yeah.
So I think I've said implacable more than once today.
Nice.
That's a good word.
Yeah, it's a solid word. Sufficient number of syllables, you know.
Well, it looks like implaceable, so. I know how to spell it, too.
Nice.
Fucking.
2 C's, motherfucker. But
does it?
I'm pretty sure. Hoo boy.
I don't think so. Anyway. So I will see if they bother with this season 3. I don't think we're gonna get it because
No,
of course
I think
Disney
Jessica Jones
is ruining everything.
Right, Jessica Jones season 3, and that's it. I'm pretty sure. That's all we're gonna get. At most.
On the bright side, no more Dina Madani. Fucking Dina Madani.
I know. God,
I work
that
for the
poor
CIA
kid.
now.
Now I'm obsessed with my ex-boyfriend, and I feel bad
So
for her.
I get that because like somebody shoots you in the face
Right.
with obviously no repercussions whatsoever.
Right.
But they've also been inside you. So like
Sure.
that's
Right,
weird.
you fucked this person, and they tried to kill you. I get it. But like, god damn it. For that to be your entire fucking motivation. I mean, it's just it's a disservice. It's really a disservice to her as a character.
It's not super interesting.
No, it's really not. And it's sad. And then like the other frustrating aspect of it is that like the show is called The Punisher. So the Punisher is like, that's the guy who does all the things. That's the thing that solves all the fucking problems.
He does solve problems
Right.
by the end.
And it's frustrating because I really wish that they had at least let Dina kill this fucking cunt. Like, kill fucking Jigsaw, this fucking cunt of a character. At least give her that, you fucks. We don't need to see the Punisher kill that piece of shit. We actually don't fucking need it. He visited.
I liked it.
I liked it too, but it's like he visited upon Jigsaw the thing that he wanted to visit upon Jigsaw. He got his fucking revenge in season 1. Give Dina season 2. Give Dina, I fucked this guy. He lied to me. This piece of shit. I shot him 3 fucking times. And
Maybe
he
5.
didn't die. Jesus Christ. Like, at least give her that. But no, it's called The Punisher. So the Punisher got to do the deed at the end of the season. Fucking Christ. God damn, throw her a fucking bone. Like, otherwise it's just, jilted lover, didn't quite get the job done, needed the man to do it. Fucking, God, give her something. Like, you got her, it just feels like Jessica Jones to me a little bit all over again, where it's like, fuck, we're obsessed with the ex-boyfriend, can't quite close the deal until it takes 13 episodes to close the fucking deal. Like, god damn it. I don't know, man.
It's I don't think we're gonna see any more of her if it makes you feel better.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Oh well.
Season 1 was still gonna be several times better.
Oh yeah.
I watched that.
I mean, it really is impressive. Like, the triumvirate for me is still Daredevil season 2, Daredevil season 1, Punisher season 1. That's pretty flawless. I mean,
Yeah.
everything else kind of, holy shit.
Everything after that, whatever. Take your pick.
Yeah.
Let's see. How much more do we have to talk about this?
I think I'm pretty tapped out.
Okay. So let's call that episode number 75.
75.
For sure. Of the Wednesday Night Gentlemen Multimedia Empire official podcast. Please feel free to give us a like if you've enjoyed this video, or subscribe to our channel if you have nothing better to do. You can also find us on Twitter, where we are at WNG_MME_OPC, or head on over to Facebook, where we are simply the Wednesday Night Gentlemen. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we will see you again on number 76 of this podcast, or you can always listen to us on Too Old to Go Drinking, which is a great show. It's a great show. I've heard it's a great show.
I heard it well.
Bye-bye.